Hello again, this is Nicole Al-Amoudi, and this is the second half of your Play-Doh training for summer school. So the student puts in the account ID and their username, password, and this is where they land within Play-Doh. As you can see, the student will be able to see all of their classes that they're currently enrolled in. On the side, the alerts will show them if there's anything that you manually graded and if it's done. They can always click on this home button and they can come back to the screen. One of the main things that I want to show you is how the students actually get to their lessons. So you have here, for example, the computer programming class. You can click on the continue button and it'll just automatically take the student directly to the last activity that they were on or the next activity if they finish something. This little progress bar shows them how much of the course they have completed. And then the main button that we need to focus on here is where it says all activities. So the student would click all activities and then they would go to the next page. Okay, so they're going to see this. And on this screen, it tells them the course. And then there's always the orientation and the syllabus. They can use these buttons at the top. I've not instructed any of my students in the past to use those, but they can always see like what's in progress, what they haven't started, those types of things. The units are listed here. And so you have 5 units that we're seeing right now. For a student to actually get to the material, they need to click on this plus button here. So if I were to click on that plus button, this is what I would see. So this is Unit 1, and these are all of the lessons that are included in Unit 1. A few things that I want to point out on this screen. If it's not completed or started, it's in a blue color at the top. If it hasn't started, if the student hasn't like clicked on the lesson or hasn't looked at it, it's still a gray color at the top. And then if they've completed it, then it's in a green. Okay? And it'll also give you a progress down here too. So like for example, for using a calculator, it shows me that I have 1 out of 2 things started or completed. Another aspect of this system is when the students take the pre-test. In this case, the practice student or the test student took the pre-test and scored a 44. So what happened was the program figured out which questions the student did really well on, and it exempted the student from those lessons. So to know if a student has been exempt from anything, you will notice that there is a star with an E in the corner. That's an indication that the student does not need to do those assignments. If they want to review them, they can, but they're not required to. And it will record, if I remember correctly, 100% in that for that lesson within the grade book. Okay, so now that you see what the outside of this looks like, let's go a little bit deeper and actually see what a lesson looks like. So if I were to click on one of these, so if I clicked on using a calculator, this is what happens when you click on that. You get this screen that comes up and you have all of your lessons in the classes. They have some type of tutorial and then some type of quiz, whether it's called a quiz or mastery test, but basically it's just like a comprehension check. Usually there are anywhere from 5 to 10 questions. I've seen as many as maybe 15, but they always have those checks at the end. Now the tutorial is the lesson material, so that is like their textbook basically. And let's go a little bit further in. So this is kind of what a tutorial looks like. Now I showed you a split screen just to show you a couple of things. So you have the table of contents here, so it gives you kind of an outline of where you're going in this lesson. So they always have an introduction, there's always a summary, And you can always click on these as well. So say for example a student takes the mastery test, doesn't do very well, but wants to go back and review. They can use this table of contents by clicking here and looking at one of these parts of the lesson. The other navigation is this arrow up here. Um, this is where they can go through the pages. So we know that this tutorial has 12 pages or 12 slides. A couple other notes on along the side here. This is the note app if the students want to take note. This is a folder to keep any documents or any notes that they want to keep. The book on the side is the glossary. You can highlight the speech. Some of the lessons within some courses will actually automatically give you audio of what the reading is, and usually if the student doesn't want to hear that, there's like a pause button up in the corner right here that they can press. If they need it to be translated into Spanish, they can. There is a calculator, and if the student wants to highlight, they can do that as well. So this is what a tutorial looks like. So let me show you what a quiz looks like. Oh, one other thing to note with the tutorials, it will have, excuse me, it will have comprehension checks throughout the way. And in most cases, it will not let the student, like say for example, if there's 2 questions on a slide and the student doesn't answer the questions, it won't let them go to the next page. So the student has to at least attempt it to move on. Usually it will, like if it's a multiple choice question, if the student doesn't get it right, it will tell them it's wrong and it'll give them another attempt to try. Some of the courses they might have to type in answers. I always just tell the students try to do their best, submit it, and at least there's usually gives them feedback like what the correct answer is. So I always tell them to make sure to review that as well. Okay, so mastery tests. For this one, it tells them that they have 5 questions and their goal is to get 4 correct. Sometimes students get really concerned on that as far as like, oh my gosh, I didn't get 4 correct. But they can see the percentage that they got on the quiz. So remember, passing is 60 or above. They can do many attempts. It eventually will lock them out. But one of the things, say for example, my student did this quiz and only got 1 out of 5 right. It'll show that little lock symbol, and all they need to do is go back into the tutorial. They can review it. That's highly suggested. But if not, if the student knew what they got wrong, like it was between 1 or 2 answers or whatever it might be, if they just click on that tutorial and then go to the mastery test, it will unlock. And then like I said, if a student wants something unlocked, you can do that from your teacher view. Okay, so this ends your session on what Play-Doh looks like for a student. So please remember, if you do have any questions, you can always contact me. My extension is 110. You can also email me, even if I'm not in the office. I am always checking my email. So I hope this was helpful. If you have any other additional questions, please contact me, and good luck with summer school.